Hello, everybody. Good afternoon or good morning. It's kind of in between. Good midday to you all. I hope you're all doing well. It's nice to be live. I took a couple of days off from editing the documentary and doing any lives just because I needed some time to just kind of get my mind settled and spend some time with the Lord and just hang out and kind of try to relax because it takes a lot out of me doing this stuff. I mean, I think anybody that does it, whether they admit it or not, it can take a lot out of you. Um, so I'm gonna start here with this information. I thought this one was pretty interesting. So they're saying that they're saying that the U.S. power grid is vulnerable and that it could result in an 18-month nationwide blackout. Why 18 months? That's really specific. It doesn't make any sense. Um, the U.S. is at a heightened risk of a catastrophic blackout that could last up to 18 months due to aging power grid infrastructure. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And I mean, it is aging and it isn't great. And I have to comment and say, if you watched or read Atlas Shrugged, it's the infrastructure crumbles in that whole side of things. For those of you that watch my channel a lot, know what I talk about. Um, but it says here that takes agonizingly long to update and is potentially vulnerable to a precision weapon strike. Now, I've heard of different things happening to where the power company will pay for a storm to brew to knock out the power so they can come in and upgrade the power systems while the power is out. And I do believe that that's taking place. I do know that there are also some areas, and I've had other commenter or subscribers comment and say, in my area, they did a planned blackout and they said it was to upgrade the system. They're upgrading it. Yeah, they're upgrading it and they're working on it, and little by little, bit by bit, they're getting this stuff done. But I just find it rather odd that out of nowhere, for the longest time it was an EMP, it was an EMP, it was an EMP every other day. They were talking about EMP, 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 and now it's just because the infrastructure is weak and all that stuff. And it really paves a path for accelerationists, people who are radicalized to attack infrastructure and cause issues, fires, things like that. Pretty soon, the winter is going to be here, and fire season will slow down a little bit, and all that, and so that's a good thing. But you know, um, if there was a power outage for 18 months, and if it started in the wintertime, it could end in the wintertime too. So you 2 winters of no power, that's pretty wild. And there are people that even live in the desert that know even in the desert temperatures can get below freezing real quick and become a life-threatening situation. And I have a lot to share today, so I got to keep moving, but I just wanted to show you guys that they're saying that the US power grid is vulnerable because of the infrastructure. I think it's more, and yeah, it's because of the infrastructure, but I think it's more because of cyber attacks, not just human cyber attacks, but artificial intelligence cyber attacks. And we're going to get into that in a little bit. Um, just again, showing you just real quick, multiple people are reporting on it. It's not just one place. US Grid faces 18 months blackout risk from aging infrastructure, FERC warns. So, it's a thing. And they just come out, with this 4 days ago and started telling people this. So, you know, when they start to tell you something's coming and they give you an excuse, that seems like more of a setup for a false flag than anything else to me. So I thought, man, I'm going to throw it in today's live because I think it's important. And I want to remind people about my show. I don't edit what I put out, like in the sense, like I find things that I believe are important significant. Sometimes there's people in videos that are F-bombing or, typing the F word or something like that. And I do apologize about that stuff. And I apologize about the occasional cuss word slip and things like that. Like, I've really been working on those things. It gets upsetting, it gets upsetting, and it's kind of hard not to cut loose language wise sometimes when you're upset. But it's like, man, I'm sick of these people doing this stuff. They know exactly what they're doing to us, and they're fully intending to hurt us. And so, but I, am not fully intending to hurt you. So I'm apologizing for any cuss words you may see or hear on this channel. But I want to show you this one. This one's just, again, wild, man, just wild. But so, right here, and there's a cuss word that was there. I didn't know if people saw it, but I'm going to play this. And these guys are coming out of the sewer in New York City again, and watch them block their face. It's hot down there. They got waders on. They're in the water. They're planning something. They're doing something. New York City, the underground infrastructure in New York City is absolutely, it's not cleanly immaculate. It's dirty immaculate, but it's immaculate. It's very disgusting down there, I'm sure, but there is all sorts of secret tunnels. I have heard of maglev trains that go from New York to LA in 45 minutes flat. Maglev trains. I don't know if you've ever looked into it, but they exist. And so, there's real underground cities beneath cities. And there was even a TV show on the History Channel that talked about it. Even people in the ancient times went underground into the soft stone underground and carved out cities. You could go look it up. I mean, it's real stuff. But I'm going to show you this real quick. I'm going to mute it because it's got some music that's probably copyrighted here. But watch their hands over their face. Some of them just running out of the way real quick. Some of them might not. They don't even look Islamic. You know what I'm saying? They look like, they don't even look, Arab or anything like that. These people could be, they're up to nothing because he's covering his face. Look at him covering his face, man. He knows people are filming. And so I'll be honest with you, man. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if they're Antifa. I don't know if they're ISIS, just joining ISIS or whatever. But these people are it's female. That's a female right there. And there's a male. So female and male, they're doing this stuff down there. They got goggles. They got gloves. I mean, that looks pretty serious. He doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know where they went. He walked off the one way. That's crazy to me, man. Crazy to me. This is not the first time this has happened. This has been, just been happening and happening and happening. And so it's no coincidence, that, Americans are being radicalized. And this lady, she got busted for something. I don't know what it was. It was a 35-year-old woman from Albany just spent a month planning to nail bomb the New York State Capitol, murder as many senators as possible, and flee to Syria for ISIS. Jessica Bowie, converted 5 years ago, took the name Aisha Saif, and by summer 2026 was already praising 9/11. Pledging bayah on audio to the ISIS caliph, and telling strangers online she wanted to poison infidels. Oh, man. Then she went operational. So, let's see what this says here. Hold on. This is the exact pattern. Blah, 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 blah. This is her take. The FBI affidavit never names who introduced her to Islam, who she recruited and groomed, or was she simply making the Muhammad proud and acting in accordance with the commands of Islam. Hold on, I'm trying to read this here. She says this is okay. So this is what Aisha, Jessica, says in her own words. She's talking about Allah. She says, she's happy to him for September 11th. She says, when I can migrate, I will blank these infidels. And blowing kafirs blank out is beautiful. Those are things that she was saying. She said, I want to blank as much of the building as possible and blank the senators while they are meeting, destroying some of the Tag Hut. She says, I want something that's going to do the job. I don't want to take this kind of risk and then have it, you know, blank what, 2 or 3 people. What good is that? So this woman was planning violence in America. She was an American citizen that got radicalized by ISIS or Islam and was planning to do something about it. Man, these people are crazy, bro. These people are crazy. I'll be honest with you. What religion, who would want to join a religion that their main method is violence? I don't understand that. The main method is violence. You could say it's a peaceful religion. It's not. Jesus said you'll know them by their fruits, man. And I'm telling you, the fruits of Islam are violent and bloody. And it's, I'll be honest with you, I think a lot of people are joining this stuff because they're scared. They want protection. I mean, a lot, forget what rapper it was. There's some rapper went to prison and he got out and he gave his life to Jesus, I guess. You know how rappers say they do, and sometimes don't, but they, when they get out of prison, they do. And hopefully he has an actual conversion. But he said that he was talking about the dudes that just join Islam for protection in prison and things like that. So it just, I think a lot of people are running scared about the end times, and they think that when they join Islam, they got more people, and those people are willing to get violent and so on and so forth. I am going to show this as is. I'm not going to play the video, but the last live I did, I was talking about Jake Lang being an antagonist, a racist, Aryan Nazi antagonist, and I wanted to show you proof. I found some proof just recently. He went to Minnesota and started a bunch of stuff, man. And you know what? Really, the reason I bring it up is because he's doing it under the banner of the cross. He's doing it under the name of Jesus, and he's making Christians look bad. And I want to say firsthand, as a Bible believing, God fearing believer in Jesus Christ, follower of Jesus Christ, that we are not commanded to commit acts of violence. We are commanded to love our enemies and love our neighbors, even if there's differences. We're commanded to. We're commanded to turn our cheek, even though some of us ain't. I ain't going to let anybody just slap me. Sorry, ain't going to happen. But here's the thing. God does not say to go out preaching the gospel of violence and racism. All right. And so I wanted to show you this and just give you kind of an idea of who this Jake Lang is. And in this picture, it says Jake Lang arrested after a rally in Minneapolis draws some clashes with counter protesters. I want you to kind of look right here. And I did it like this so that way the word was cut out. But right here, this white piece of wood this man is holding is Jake Lang's little crony with the glasses that screams and yells like his little hype man that I showed you last time. What a friggin' idiot, dude. These dudes, I mean, honestly, scum of the earth. And this dude's holding a wooden cross, and a big white wooden cross. And I mean, the violence that happened later on, I mean, I think I think the sign's gone. I'll just show you this part. Hold on, it's got to load. Yeah, I jumped ahead too far. But you can see the cross right there. You can kind of see that things are getting real uppity. Everybody's getting bucked. Stop the fucking security, you piece of shit! And I mean, it's all over Jake Lang. And I mean, he couldn't start it in Detroit, right? He wanted to start it in Detroit or near Dearborn. He wanted to get stuff buck wild in Dearborn. All right. And he couldn't do that, so he went to where he could rile people up in Minneapolis. And he did. And every time, he goes to Minneapolis, he gets his grape busted open and then cries about it like a little sissy. And I'm calling it out for what it is. Jake Lang is a racist, Nazi sissy. A sissy. Let me say that again. Jake Lang is a anti-Christian sissy. He cries boo-hoo when he gets beat up because of his horrible morals. I want to put that out there. All right, because the dude really upsets me. I don't get triggered too often. That dude irritates me beyond belief. So, just like Jake Lang is abusing Christianity and trying to do things to make Christians look bad, all right, the rest of the world is burning churches down. And it's just sad. This is happening all over the place, all over the world. More and more and more and more and more churches are burning down. And I'm going to tell you a little story that happened a long time ago when I used to sell artwork online. When I was living in the world, it was bad. And I was selling artwork to this one guy. I'll say he's in Arizona. And this guy was a Satanist, you know what I mean? But he liked my artwork, and so he bought prints from me. And he got real uppity with me one time, and I'm like, you know what, dude, you can just kick rocks if you need to, you know what I mean? And he went off, and I knew right when it happened that it was demonic. I knew that it was a demon coming out angry at me because I wouldn't play along, telling me the enemy's plans. And I truly believe that in the moment when this guy said that, he's like, yeah, and when we burn the last of the churches, and he got real wild, like real buck wild on me, and real crazy acting. I knew it was demonic, and I knew the demon was telling me the enemy, one of the enemy's next moves. And I actually thought in that time, this was during the pandemic, that there's going to be a lot of churches start to get burned down. And I thought that when he said that, I said, there's probably some of the enemy's plans in there that there's some truth to it. Not that there's truth to the enemy, but there's truth to what he was saying, of like that this entity that was speaking through him was giving out what the devil wanted to do next. And the churches are catching on fire like crazy. And this one, hold on. This one was in Europe. And, mosques aren't burning down. The satanic church isn't burning down. The satanic temple isn't burning down. Those aren't burning down. It's the churches in the synagogues that are burning down. I'll even show you something further here. And I saw this, and I'm like, what in the world, man? What in the world? I'll mute this here. But, I mean, churches all over the place, burning and on fire. Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, England, all over the place, burning down. And America walking around, I'm untouchable. America's walking around like they think like they're untouchable. And we've had quite a few churches burned down. Some, I'll be honest with you, some of them ones that got them open doors policy to the kingdom of the enemy, in the sense of what they'll allow in the church that's disgusting and vile. Some of it's an act of God. I'm not going to lie. Like, dude, I think there was a wedding, what would be considered an abomination, happening at some church. I think it was in, it was like Massachusetts or something like that. And like, yeah, it was like Boston, Massachusetts, I think is where it was. And this church got struck by lightning and burned down with the people inside of it that were desecrating the church. The building isn't holy, but the Spirit of the Lord within the building is holy, right? The Spirit of the Lord moves outside of the building too, but the point is that it's a place where people can go to have their faith. And that faith, our faith, my brothers and sisters in Christ, all of you who watch this channel, our faith is the one that's finally being infringed upon right now. And I, for one, am sick of it. I, for one, am sick of it. And I am not going to go down without a fight. I don't know about y'all. You know what I mean? They ain't going to shut me up. They ain't going to silence me. And I'll tell you right now, I'm going to be honest with you, man. The enemy has been really attacking me heavy lately. I'll be honest with you. Over the weekend, I almost shut down End Times Talk. I'm going to be honest with you. It was intense, man. I talked to a few friends that are a part of this channel that help moderate here, and I discussed with them some things and kind of weighed the pros and the cons of continuing on. And honestly, it comes down to, I don't want to let Jesus down. I'm wore out. There's a lot going on in my life, man. I mean, it's been rough. It's been really rough. And I've thought about it a few times, and I almost clicked the delete button this weekend. I'll be honest, I am just overwhelmed with a lot of things, a lot of worries. There's a lot of worry, and I got to give that over to the Lord, and I got to let him take hold, and I got to know that he's going to take care of me, and my wife and End Times Talk and take care of my family. I know that God's in control. I know that he's powerful. He's all knowing. He's omnipotent. He has his hand on me. He has his hand on all of you. But I'm gonna be honest with you, man. The devil's working overtime to run people dry and wear them out and get you to throw in the towel. And the scripture kept coming to mind: "Take heed lest no man steal your crown." And I've been working awfully hard for 4 years online, but before that, for probably I'd say about 10 years in street ministry online. But I'm gonna be honest with you. In the past 4 years, I was never closer to shutting down End Times Talk and just not even giving an answer to nobody and just being done. All right. So I really do need lots of prayer. Really going through it lately. It's been a struggle. It's a physical struggle. My health has been deteriorating in certain means that I'm not going to say publicly. My mental health has been really heavy duty lately, and the physical, the mental, the spiritual, because of what I'm fighting against, the financial, everything is tied into how I'm feeling. And it's hard. It's really hard, but I am going to keep going. And I'm sure that there's some people that have negative opinions about me that'll watch this and say, "Oh man, he almost gave up." But yeah, no, it's like too late, too bad, too sad. You know what I mean, Satan? Because I choose Jesus, and I choose that Jesus is going to take care of me, and he's gonna hold me through what I'm going through. Because I don't talk about what I'm going through publicly, because it's not the public's business, right? So, anyways, on with the show here. Amazon has been caught destroying rare books to train AI. And I'm not going to read it because you can kind of get the picture just from the title. But it's crazy how Amazon is purchasing mass stockpiles of rare books, and they're being shipped to secret Amazon centers. They're putting tracking devices in these shipments to find out where these rare books are going, and they trace them to Amazon centers, like these places that Amazon owned. They found out Amazon owned the building, but it was like a secret warehouse, and that they were taking these rare books, opening them up, cutting all the pages out, all right, so it can all be scanned, and the robots are doing this on their own, right? This is like, all right, humans are getting the books, shipping them in, but as soon as they arrive to the facility and they get put on the conveyor belt, there are robots that are doing this, cutting out the pages, scanning the pages, and then using those pages to feed AI, and then destroying and burning the books. And this is exactly like the movie Equilibrium, all right, where they go around destroying all the books. I have always told people from the beginning of this channel, it is so important for you to invest in physical copies of everything. They cannot AI alter in real time a book that is on your shelf. But if you have a PDF file that you have not read yet, and AI can tell if you read it or not, I promise you that. All right, can get into your system, can know whether you've read that book or not, and can actively alter that book however it wants in real time, knows how to do it. All right. So I'm telling you, there's a war for the mind that's on right now. It's not just your physical body. It's not just your spirit. It's not just your soul. It's not just, your family that, Satan's making war against. It's the battlefield of the mind, everybody. It is heavy right now. I know so many people getting headaches. It is unreal. I know somebody that has had a headache so much. So the migraines have been so bad, they've been so disoriented that they're vomiting on themselves. They're disoriented. You can't talk to them. The hospital won't do anything really. You know what I'm saying? This person, when they get a migraine, they literally lose their mind. And I know other people, they can't sleep, they can't eat, they can't do nothing. Their migraines are so bad. And I have a lot of people contacting me about these migraines recently. And I'm going to tell you what I think is going on. And this is speculation. I believe 7G is going active. That's what I believe is happening. And I think that's why we're all experiencing a heaviness in the air that we can't quite put our finger on. And it's spiritual, but it's manifesting in the physical. Everything that is spiritual manifests spiritually, obviously, first, but then it manifests into the physical. It always will. And it's manifesting in the physical. And I truly believe that that's exactly what's happening. And we really got to be prayed up, people, in the name of Jesus, because we are under attack frequency wise. We are under attack with chemicals in the air. We are under attack with bioengineered food ingredients in your food. You are under attack in the things that they're making your food with, all sorts of stuff. And it's everywhere. The stuff even gets on the gardens. Make sure you wash your veggies well. So anyways, I'm getting off track again. I'm notorious for that. I rabbit trail really easily, but this next one's pretty wild, dude. So I'm going to tell you this one was interesting before I even show you the picture. And I will tell you 110% what I'm about to show you is 110% confirmed. I have confirmed this. All right. It is accurate information. You can trust it. All right. So back on October 24th, 2024, Donald Trump was talking about that snake poem, oh, little snake, let me in by, some hair in my chinny chin chin, whatever, a stupid poem. Anyways, and everybody knows that snake represents Lucifer, and that woman represents like Eve, kind of. It reminds me of Eve and Lucifer in the garden, right? But I really feel that in saying that, there's they're going to tell you what they're going to do. They're going to tell you all that stuff, right? Now, just recently, all right, on the 21st, 3 days ago, Donald Trump brought it up again. All right. And you want to know what the craziest thing about all of this is that it has been exactly 666 days since Donald Trump talked about the snake poem on Thursday, August 24th, 2024, and then just recently on Friday, August 21st, 2026, and the difference is 666. Now, I'm going to tell you something. And you need to listen to me, and you need to listen to me good. One of the more important conversations that I remember having with Doc Marquis that was, we'll say, off the record. It's not now because he's dead. We were just kind of talking about stuff, and we weren't really, it's this stuff isn't in any of his DVDs that he told me here. But he said when the Illuminati do things, when they're about to make big moves, when they're making big moves, or after they've made big moves, he said they always use 666 or the number 13 3 times. So here's the thing. All right. Like, for instance, we'll just give you an instance here. So this is what Doc said actually in the conversation. He's like, for instance, Josh, because he didn't put this in anything. So with the Boston bombing that took place, where it was really just a test to be able to a scenario to implement. Yes, people, got raided and things by the police that came in. They were taking guns from people. I think there was like 11 shootouts that took place when they were going door to door in Boston. They locked Boston down because they wanted to test in real world scenario how to lock down a city and how to take guns from everybody. And they learned everything that they need to know there. But during that bombing event, there were 2 bombs that went off. All right. One of the bombs that went off was at 666, I think it was Boylston Street was where one of the bombs went off. So 666 Boylston Street. And then both bombs that went off were 666 feet apart. All right. And he said that is an example on how the Illuminati will layer their numerology into things. And this was spotted, not by me, by someone else. I don't even know who spotted it because it's everywhere. But here's the thing. I say that heads up, caution, red flag when something like this takes place. And this leads me to believe something is brewing, something big is brewing. when you start to see the number 666 actually show up like this very blatantly in your face. All right. So I want to make sure people know that. And I tell you what, Doc Marquis told me, but he said they mark their territory. They mark their territory. So with that being said, apply that to what you just, were told. Donald Trump in his snake poem were spoken of 666 days apart. It seems almost ritualistic, right? Well, what I'm going to do is I am going to let you hear the poem in its entirety if you have not heard it. And in light, I'm going to take a bathroom break while this is going, but in light of this information that I just told you, I want you to listen to this poem.
So this is from an old song with some changes, and I just think it's so apropos, especially when you hear of the story I just told you. And it's called The Snake, and it represents our border and the horrible people that this country has allowed into our country through the Obama and the Biden administrations. On her way to work one morning, down the path along the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor, half-frozen snake. Her pretty colored skin had been all frosted with the dew. "Poor thing," she cried, "I'll take you in, and I'll take care of you. Take me in, oh tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, oh tender woman," sighed the vicious snake. She wrapped him up all cozy in a comforter of silk and laid him by her fireside with some honey and some milk. She hurried home from work that night, and soon as she arrived, she found the pretty snake she'd taken in had been revived. "Take me in, oh tender woman. Take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, oh tender woman," cried the vicious snake. She clutched him to her bosom. "You're so beautiful," she cried, "but if I hadn't brought you in by now, you truly would have died." She stroked his pretty skin again and kissed and held him tight. But instead of saying, "Thank you, ma'am," the snake gave her a vicious bite. "Take me in, oh tender woman. Take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, oh tender woman," sighed the vicious snake. "I saved you," cried the woman, "and you've bitten me, but why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die." "Shut up, silly woman," said the reptile with a grin. "You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in."
So notice the emphasis of the bite moment in the poem. A big bite. And like he just really had to emphasize it, and he's not good at it anyways. But I'll be honest with you, at this point, I'm really remorseful for even voting at all in the last election. And to be honest with you, like I just it's kind of a bummer, man. You hope for better things for Christians, and you get literally sidelined. You know what? That's a good point, Cap Dragon. Gross how he reads it with utter compassion. Yeah. Yeah, like it's almost like like he's enjoying it, like he's enjoying it. Now, with that being said, with Trump, all that stuff being said about Trump, check this one out. National Guard awards 292 million for 2,000 apartment style units for DC deployments. So that ain't going to be the last time that soldiers are deployed to DC. And this tells you what everything means, because they're making it to where they're going to be residential there. They're going to have, there's something coming to where the military is going to be living in Washington, D.C. in apartments. Think about that for a moment. I want you to really think about that for a moment. Now, on the other front, over there, UK and France to lead defensive mission in Strait of Hormuz. So now we're seeing the NATO BRICS clash beginning to really brew here. You know, NATO is finally getting involved in the Strait of Hormuz. And so this tells you everything. This is where we're going. This is where it's going. And Iran has said and stated very clearly, if the U.S. continues to mess with their infrastructure, they're going to mess with ours. We've been told that, you know, to expect, 18 months of a blackout that takes place. And if it starts in the winter, it ends in the winter, if that's the case. You know what I mean? So if you got a chance to get, they got these, and I'm going to put it out there for everybody. They have these mini wood stoves that you can get. They're real tiny, but if you have some bricks, like some patio bricks, you can like make a little area in a room, a smaller room, and make sure you have a pot of boiling water on top of it to put moisture into the air. But you can get the pipe to go out the window and make like an insert for the window that's like, like metal or something. And you can put that pipe right out the window and get it to angle up. And you can, even if you don't have a wood stove, you can get a really relatively cheap and some even used camping stoves and make them work. So just letting people know, there's people that have even taken empty propane tanks, cut a door in it, put a hinge on it, cut a hole in the top of it and, put some piping on it and made little fireplaces out of even old propane tanks like this, so it's something that you can do to keep warm in the wintertime. Candles, it takes a lot of candles to keep warm, but you have to have a window cracked. Make sure you're getting air. So anyways, I'm kind of over talking here, but yeah, so I really believe that, because this is going to continue to pop off, that the oil is going to continue to get worse. The prices are going up. Gold is going back up. Gold is on the rise again. Oil is obviously on the rise again. I can check the price just real quick here. Hold on. I gotta find. There it is. Hold on. So we're at $97 a barrel of oil right now, and that's spot price. And it's up 3.1% right now, Brent crude. That's the spot price of the oil on the ship, almost $100 already again. So, and the last time it wasn't that. So it's going up. All right. And, there's more tension coming. There's more war coming. Remember they want a war game scenario tailored for the draft. The government ordered it. They've already produced it, and it's in the government's hands. And they're running war game scenarios right now on how to enact the draft. All right, and I'm not gonna play the video here, but I'm just gonna show you the headline. But they're saying right here that the Epstein victims are going to create their own list of names. So there's big moves about to happen, because when you get close to names starting to come out, remember as they release these, documents, most of the abusers are, censored. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. So I got distracted there for a moment. When you have things getting close to the people who rule the world that have been involved in the satanic pedophilic death cults starting to get named, that's when big things start to happen to distract. That's kind of when the Iran war started, is when things were really starting to come out. People were really digging into the Epstein emails. You know what I mean? And it really started to come out. This one's pretty heavy duty. If you have children in the room, I highly suggest that you shut off the audio at least. You'll be able to see the article, but shut off the audio at least, or mute it, or just shut the channel off, because you don't want your kids to hear what I'm about to say. But this guy that works for Ron DeSantis, Michael Caruso. This is bad, guys. And I checked it out. This is real. This is accurate information. He made his grandson perform, and it starts with an O, and it ends with the word sex, on him during a cruise trip. This person is saying they're going to try to make this go viral. It says Ron DeSantis appointee and former Republican state representative Michael Caruso has been arrested on 5 felony charges involving the alleged sexual abuse of a child under the age of 12. I know for a fact Ron DeSantis is a Mason. I was shown evidence by an investigator way back that Ron DeSantis was also getting Freemasonic money as well. All right, so these people are all in the same club. Florida, you ain't exempt from these mongrels, these horrible people that hurt children, these Satanists. They want this moment. They want this build-up moment. They want this tension. They want it. They need it right, left. They need that. They thrive off of it. They're building their chaos off of it. They're going to build their empire off the back of the violence that comes from it. And so, of course, you're going to have states that are going to win. They're going to look like they're going to win. But this world is death. This world is lost. This world is corrupt. And I'll be honest with you, there is nothing in this world besides Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit and the Heavenly Father and maybe some family members that are out to help you and do you good. Your government does not care about you. Why do you think your government cares about you? Why are you under this MK Ultra mind control that your government's here to help you? They have the wins, they have their losses, but it's always this balance going back and forth, and it's like an oil rig pumping oil out of the ground. They're pumping the chaos, they're pumping it and pumping it and pumping it. All right, and this is how they do it, but they're all part of the same club. All right, Biden was a pedophile, he's sniffing kids. Trump's in the Epstein files. Get over it. All right. Trump talked about his daughter to Howard Stern. No man should ever talk about his own child like Trump did on the Howard Stern show. Go look it up. Go listen to what he said about his daughter. I won't even repeat about it. I won't even repeat it to you, what the vile things he said about his daughter's body, about her looks, the things he allowed Howard Stern to say. Absolutely disgusting. Trump, and I'm going to tell you this right now, on the record, all right, I have gone through the Epstein flight logs myself, and I have found myself where Trump rode with Jeffrey Epstein every single time he flew. It says JENGM, Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein with Trump. There was times where Eric Trump went on there. All right. There's times where Ivana Trump, Trump's previous wife, and his daughter, Ivana, the one that married Jared Kushner, they all have been there. And Trump flew from Florida to New York as well with Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, it happened 8 times that I could count from what I found myself personally. All right. So, and we know Obama's little pedophile party he had at the White House, and Pizzagate's real. And if you don't think it's real, you need to actually educate yourself and quit listening to CNN and the pedophile that supposedly debunked it. Go look it up. The dude supposedly that debunked Pizzagate got arrested for underage child molestation, right? So you get these people, they're all in cahoots, right? It doesn't matter whether they're Democrat, it doesn't matter whether they're Republican, it doesn't matter whether they're liberal, and it definitely doesn't matter whether they're conservative or not. It doesn't matter whether they're pastors, it doesn't matter whether they're Satanists, it doesn't matter whether they're Christians. We have been infiltrated all across the globe by the perversity of pedophilia. And anybody who is into pedophilia is out to destroy the human race. They're out to destroy the children. They're out to destroy God's plan. They're out to do the will of the devil. and they feed off the life force of the innocents. All right. And this dude, all right, 5 charges: kidnapping, lewd molestation, lewd exhibition, luring a child, and child abuse. And Caruso previously supported Florida's brutal new penalties for people who sexually abuse children. The same dude that brought out these penalties, you know, for pedophiles, which is it's important. You got to scare the hell out of them. Scare the hell out of these pedophiles. Scare the perversity right out of them. And anybody who's convicted, put them into a wood chipper. That's what needs to happen. Or chop their junk off and send them to an island. All right. But it says here, Caruso previously supported Florida's brutal new penalties for people who sexually abuse children. This dude right here is an absolute disgusting pedophile, and he has ties to DeSantis. And DeSantis has ties to Masons. I promise you, Ron DeSantis has ties to Freemasonry. I've seen it myself. Now, things are going to start to get interesting. This is going to be a little bit longer of a show because I haven't gone live for a while. And if you don't want to watch the rest of it right now, come back later on and watch the rest of it. And you get 2 shows for the price of 1, right? How's that? Well, for the post of 1, because I don't charge anything to watch my videos, but that'd be silly and counterproductive. All right. So this one I found interesting to me when I heard this. It was actually Cap Dragon that shared this with me. When I heard this, it screamed Agenda 2030 to me. And I've been telling people, like I told you earlier, about, you know, Amazon, you know, feeding rare books to AI, literally feeding it to it, right? Just like that. And they're destroying physical copies of books. Now they want to end physical disc production for new video games. And they're doing it for video games, yes. They're not doing it for movies just yet. But I know they're tapering down on the amount of DVDs they produce, like DVDs. They have the Blu-rays and the 4K and all that stuff still. But I believe that eventually they're going to taper that off too, because they want everything to be on a system that they control what you watch, they control what you play. And if you don't play the satanic game that's coming, you won't even get to play your PlayStation if you don't take the mark of the beast. That's where this is going, because everything's going to be digitally online. All right. And this right here, just as an addition, just goes to show that they can just take it away from you. Sony is deleting over 550 purchased movies with no refund. You ain't getting no refund from PS5 users' digital libraries. This is supposed to be something you own. No. You'll own nothing, you'll have nothing, and you're going to like it even when they delete your 550 purchased movies. All right? They say you're going to own nothing, you're going to have nothing, and you're going to like it. This blows my mind, man. And it's the first step in them really telling you how you're going to do things. It's not ownership, it's a lease. When you have a digital library, you don't own a damn thing. You don't own anything. You don't own anything. Anything you have digitally. You only own it if you have a physical copy. Just like if, you know, you're a person that invests in gold. If you have gold IRAs or whatever, you know, that paper gold stuff, that is not actual gold. You don't actually own gold. You own paper that says you own gold. But you don't actually own the gold because the gold isn't in your hand, right? Gold in the hand is the gold that you own. Makes sense, right? So same with movies, same with music, same with TV shows, same with books, same with comic books. If you have been these people that have done this Kindle edition stuff and, you know, always digitalize everything, one day they can just decide, well, you're not allowed to have this anymore. This is against the way we want you to think and believe. And they just delete it. So I wanted to show that real quick because of that. Now, this is a little bit personal for me because the last live that I did, you know, I was discussing this woman and I forget her name. She had mental issues, you know, and she had killed her 3 children, strangled them to death, okay, and admitted to it, you know, and is being prosecuted and is, you know, facing time. And the last time I was live, I commented about the women that are supporting her wearing pink outside the courthouse. They're standing with someone who murdered their children, whether they had mental issues or not, because every murderer has mental issues, right? Every murderer has a screw loose, I promise you, right? You can't go along the lines of that she was dealing with mental issues and make it a mental health issue. It's a violence issue. And because of those violence issues that pop up like that, and then you get women like the one that attacked me the last live, I won't even say the name, but the woman that attacked me last live for standing against this, right? I hope that that person is watching right now, because I want to show them what that kind of behavior promotes. 22-year-old Kaylee Earhart told her partner, this man right here, to say goodbye to the kids, and then she slashed all three of her children, her young children. She slashed their throats open. The 5-month-old and the 3-year-old died and passed away from their wounds. And the 1-year-old Colton here is the only one that survived. The mother, right after this woman is being praised and hailed, a mother with her 3 children slashed their throats open and killed 2 of her own children. And all that was happening was the husband and the wife were separating. I can see why they're separating, right? But she literally taunted him, and he was worried about the kids. And, he even was trying to get help and all this stuff, and no one did nothing. So I understand that the mental health industry is not doing jack crap to help anybody with real mental health issues that is actually saying, hey, I'm feeling like this, help me, right? But the problem is that there's also a decision that people can make, especially, like the thing is that it's horrific to kill one child, but then to kill a second and a third, that's just really intentional, right? To follow through. And this woman, and a lot of women and a lot of men and a lot of people who deal with mental health issues will use it as a scapegoat to blame their evil deeds on, it was because I have mental problems. You know what I mean? No, you made a decision to do something evil. You know what I mean? There are probably some people in this life that, make decisions that, aren't the best, and they don't know what they're doing. Okay. God knows the truth. God will weigh the balances. But I cannot stand with a person that murders children. All right. And I pray she repents. I pray she gives her life to Jesus. Jesus can save you from your sin, even murder. All right. And I'll be honest with you, I hate to say it, even pedophilia. If a pedophile was to repent, they can be saved. And to be honest with you, I don't understand it. It confuses me, but I know God is good. And so I'm going to let him be the judge, not me. But it just blows my mind that when you promote these things, these evils, it will have a ripple effect, and I was told I was wrong, and now 2 more children are dead. So more people need to stand up against murderers. All these serial killers have mental health issues, every single one of them. Every single murderer on the planet has a problem. But these little children are innocent. All right. And, I do believe that a lot of this could be demonic. All right. And let me show you. I'm just going to play this here.
For allegedly stabbing his girlfriend to death. Police say he claimed demons ordered him to commit the murder. His mom was also arrested for allegedly helping dispose of the girl's body. CB Cotton has the latest on this from our New York City newsroom. Good evening, CB.
Hi, Molly. Yeah, disturbing story. 18-year-old Caroline Heinz was about to start her freshman year of college and play soccer at that next level. Now she'll never get the chance. Police say she was stabbed to death by her boyfriend, who did say, according to investigators, that a demon made him do it. She was found in the rear hatch of her car just after midnight on Thursday morning near a library on the campus of the school she was set to attend. Her father had requested a wellness check after Heinz did not show up at school following a family event. Police say Heinz had gone to speak with her boyfriend, Royce Moser, at his father's house. According to court documents obtained by Fox Digital, Moser told investigators what happened next.
So I don't even want to play that part, but this dude is saying that demonic entities told him to do it. There was and what I'm about to say is very graphic. So again, no kids, please. But there was a mother that boiled and ate her own child, and when the cops come in, she said the devil told her to do it. And there's a lot of these instances where this is happening. And so I believe that obviously there's something happening in the spiritual that's manifesting in the physical, okay? And it just goes to show. Now, let me make sure I'm all on the same page with this next stuff that I'm going to show you. Hold on one second. All right, so this next one, pretty interesting. It happened a little bit ago, but I just found out about it, and it reminded me of some things, and so I'm just going to kind of go down that rabbit hole a little bit. But this is from the 2nd of June, 2023, so 3 years ago. But it says the U.S. Air Force denies AI drone attacked an operator in a test. Like the AI turned on its own operator type of situation. It says U.S. Air Force colonel misspoke. So they're using the word misspoke here. I don't think he misspoke. I think they're covering up because that's what the military-industrial complex does, is they cover up everything. When describing an experiment in which an AI-enabled drone opted to attack its operator in order to complete its mission, the service has said. Colonel Tucker Hamilton, Chief of AI Test and Operations in the U.S. Air Force, was speaking at a conference organized by the Royal Aeronautical Society. The Air Force says a report about it went viral. The Air Force says no such experiment took place. Yeah, we believe you, Air Force. We believe you. In his talk, he had described a simulation in which an AI-enabled drone was repeatedly stopped from completing its task of destroying surface-to-air missile sites by its human operator. He said that in the end, despite having been trained not to kill the operator, the drone destroyed the communication tower so that the operator could no longer communicate with it. Look at that. We've never run that experiment, is what he's saying, nor would we need to in order to realize that this is a plausible outcome. No, you guys test everything. I mean, these people test everything. I mean, they probably test sniffing farts. They test everything in the military. That's what they do. They want hard data. Colonel Hamilton later clarified in a statement to the Royal Aeronautical Society. He added that it was a thought experiment rather than anything which had actually taken place. Yeah. So, I mean, you get the picture, but I truly believe that this actually did take place. And, I want to go down this rabbit hole here. This is going to be interesting, I think. This team accidentally let AIs loose to attack companies and won't share how bad the problem is. This was yesterday. AIs are loose attacking companies. Now let's keep going. Rogue OpenAI models behind unprecedented cybersecurity incident teamed up to break out of their testing environment. Multiple agents left each other messages for months, communicating undetected. It says right here, at some point, the agents realized that maybe we could try to exploit or attack external infrastructure in order to find the answers to the test that I'm being evaluated on. That's the quote. That's the quote from the AI. The rogue OpenAI models that broke out of their testing environment in an unprecedented cybersecurity incident recently reportedly spent months communicating with each other, unbeknownst to researchers conducting the test. the company says that the models left notes for each other before deciding to break out in a bid to cheat the task that they had been set to do. So you got that. Now, hold on, we'll keep going here. And this is Bloomberg. OpenAI models joined forces months ahead of Hugging Face hack. So they had been undetected behind the scenes for months. Here's another one. And this is all recent. This is all recent. More incidents of AIs going rogue in cybersecurity challenges. Right there. So, I mean, you have these AIs that I've literally broken out of their confined spaces, you know, and I was even told by somebody, and I couldn't get enough. We couldn't remember enough information, but he was told that there's a malicious AI bot that is actually that has gone rogue, and they can't find it anywhere. And I guess this thing is like crazy. I'm just putting that out there. That's hearsay. That's hearsay. But when that, you know, kind of happened, like, dude, all of a sudden, like the way my mind works, I just all of a sudden have like this blurb, right? That just happens. And all of a sudden it's like, I remember things, you know, and I remembered these battleship saw blades in the movie Battleship. They tore through the ship when they hit it. And this was under its own intelligence. These things, the way that they were moving, they were all under their own intelligence, like an artificial intelligence. And that's what it kind of brought it to my mind. And then guess what I found? I found an Illuminati card called Yakutisma. Look at that. So not only is it on the movie Battleship, where you have these saw blade things that tear into stuff, but the Illuminati card game has the same thing. And then guess what I find that really makes this whole thing possible? Check this out. Hold on. And I promise you that is a real video from DARPA, and it's a multi-kill vehicle. And what I didn't show was where it starts rotating and stuff, and it can rotate really fast, and it could totally make these saw blades that are in this movie a reality. And I started to think like AI's turning on humanity already, right? There's already like little news clips here and there. It's happened here and there. But dude, I don't think mankind understands that it's not just going to be spiritual monstrosities that are in the end times. I think there's going to be technological monstrosities that are going to be released upon the end times as well. Let me do something real quick. I want to try to find a video here. Really important video. I just thought of it, but I gotta find it. Watch this.
One scared me more than anyone that I've ever read. I read about this thing that DARPA was putting together. It's a robot called the EATR robot, EATR robot. It's a robot that fuels itself on biological matter. So it essentially could eat bodies. So you've got a murderous robot that eats people.
It's like
That's its fuel.
worst.
So I mean, it's insane. It's insane what they have. And you know, you've seen the robot dogs, like the small little robot dogs, but look at this thing, man. And you can see DARPA right in the corner. So I think you get the picture though. And it's like, dude, they got robots that'll pick up the battlefield after the robots coming through and cleaned out an area. There's no running from what's coming, but you know, they're trying, like in the Terminator nowadays, they're trying to make these robots look lifelike, you know, and that's what the whole movie I, Robot is about, is like this dude having a problem, you know, Will Smith having a problem that, you know, robots are a part of things and he's really against it and all that stuff. And so they put that theory out there in that movie. There's people like us who are against all of this stuff that we don't like, eater robots in, you know, multi-kill vehicles and saws tearing crap up. You know what I'm saying? So but I want to point out to people that it's not going to just be a spiritual thing. There's a physical aspect to this, a technological aspect to this, and there's monstrosities that have been created technologically that, you know, I mean, probably make the movie Virus look like child's play. I mean, they probably have stuff that's pretty gnarly that we don't even have any idea of, that's super top secret. But this is where it's all going. And, you know, Elon Musk is putting these robots out there like nobody's business. These new, in fact, they look just like the robots from iRobot, basically. And they're putting them out there now, and they're making tons of them, dude. And they're going to really start distributing these things. I know that China's making tons of them. They got robots that do kung fu. They got robots that are faster than humans now, officially. They just had a robot beat the fastest man in the world. So get ready, people. Buckle up. The end times is real, man. And I don't think that it's, you know, going to be a cakewalk up until we go home. Hopefully it's short. Hopefully it's not long. But, you know, I just want people to be aware of what's happening around us. And that way you can make a better decision as to how to protect you and your family and how you want to live your life spiritually, physically, mentally, and emotionally. You know, I want to give my life to Jesus. I want to live for Jesus. I want to focus on Jesus. I'll be honest with you. If I didn't have Jesus, I'd genuinely be scared. I'm not scared at all because I have Jesus. But this stuff's intense. And, you know, like there's just a lot here today. Yeah, you know, and so I just wanted to share this stuff with you today. And I know I thought it was going to last a little longer than it did. But, you know, I think we'll end it today. And, you know, I hope that people, you know, learn something, maybe saw something that they didn't know. You know, share this with your friends and family, you know, and if you know, want to support End Times Talk in their endeavors with your prayers, man, it sure would appreciate it. It really would. It'd mean a lot, you know. And if you could pray for me and my family, that'd be great. And so that'd mean a lot too. May God bless you all, and may he keep you today. And I hope that you guys have a great day. And I hope that the Lord is just with you, covers you with his blood, and that you just feel his peace today. Even though the world is crumbling, we're not crumbling. We're standing tall. And please remember to go out there and change this world in which you live. God bless.